If you read A Song of Ice and Fire quickly, the Faceless Men look simple. They kill people for money, they wear faces, they worship death. But if you slow down, especially in Arya's chapters, you start noticing friction, delays, refusals, rules that are never stated outright but are always enforced. That friction is the key. The Faceless Men are not confusing because George wrote them vaguely. They're confusing because readers assume they're assassins, and the books never treat them that way. Hello everyone, and welcome to Storyteller's Codex. Here we delve deep into the rich lore of The Lord of the Rings, A Song of Ice and Fire, and the vast worlds beyond. On this channel, we blend the soothing power of cutting-edge technology with the timeless knowledge of dedicated storytellers. That's us, the voices behind the Codex. Settle in, relax, and enjoy. No one in the books ever gives a faceless man an order. What they do instead is name someone. Once a name is accepted, control is gone. The client does not choose the timing, the method, or even the person who carries it out. This is why Arya's 3 names matter. She gives names, and nothing else. Every other detail is deliberately withheld from her. That's not mysticism. That's the structure. A Faceless Men contract is not kill this person. It's this death now belongs to the Order. The Faceless Men absolutely take material payment, but the books are clear that the price is meant to cost you something you'll feel. Balon Greyjoy is the cleanest example. There is no serious candidate for arranging his death except Euron Greyjoy, and Euron's resources are not normal. Rare goods, Valyrian relics, objects pulled from places no one else survives. That's the level of payment a king requires. The same logic applies to institutions. If the Citadel ever paid for a death, it would require immense gold. Gold most plausibly obtained by selling a Valyrian steel sword to House Lannister, the only buyer rich enough. This isn't symbolism, it's a deterrent. If you can afford the Faceless Men, you've already sacrificed something irreplaceable. A life for a life feels official because Jaqen repeats it. But here's the thing. The phrase disappears the moment Arya reaches Braavos. No one else uses it. The kindly man never reinforces it. The Order never formalizes it. That tells us exactly what it is. Jaqen is not explaining policy. He's translating belief into a form a child can grasp. It's a recruitment language. A simplification that feels moral instead of institutional. Once Arya is inside the system, the phrase is no longer needed. Faceless Men refuse requests far more often than readers notice. Sometimes the price isn't high enough. Sometimes the risk is unacceptable. Sometimes the death would compromise the Order. But the deeper reason is control. If clients could demand urgency, the Order would become political leverage. If they could demand methods, patterns would form. If they could demand certainty, blame would follow. So the Order keeps distance, names in, silence out. One of the strictest rules is never written down, but it's enforced immediately. A faceless man cannot kill someone they know. This is why Arya is forced to learn faces and names. It's why the ship's crew deliberately introduces themselves to her before she reaches Braavos. That scene is procedural. Once Arya knows them, she is barred from killing them. Identity creates memory. Memory creates attachment. Attachment breaks obedience. This rule explains more of the Order's behaviour than any theology ever does. Clients never choose how someone dies. That's not cruelty, it's insulation. If deaths followed patterns, they could be traced. If methods repeated, blame would accumulate. Instead, the Order disperses responsibility. Falls, sickness, accidents, quiet disappearances. The death must look like the world did it. That's why the Order survives. Once you understand the system, Jaqen stops looking playful and starts looking rigid. He delays when it suits the lesson. He redirects when Arya pushes. He never lets her control outcomes. Even the extra kill isn't generosity. It's calibration. Jaqen is not breaking rules for Arya. He is showing her how little power naming actually gives. That's the point. Assassins sell results. Faceless Men sell surrender. Once you name someone, you give up ownership of the act, and the consequences. That makes them terrifying to kings and useless for petty revenge, which is exactly why they last. The horror of the Faceless Men isn't the faces, it's the bureaucracy of death. Once a name is accepted, no one can intervene, not the client, not the victim, not even the killer. Death becomes procedural, and in a world built on ambition, that's the most dangerous thing of all. If you're interested in The Lord of the Rings or A Song of Ice and Fire, click one of the links on the screen to dive deeper into the lore. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.